Luke, Shirley, welcome to Telford Live. Thanks for coming down tonight. You're the Green Party candidate for the Telford constituency.
That's right.
So what I'd like you to do is just give us give you 2 minutes just to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me again. So the Green Party, obviously standing in Telford, as people may have seen in the news recently, has become a bit of an issue. It's become a bit of a topic for debate, shall we say. The big thing that the Greens are trying to offer for the people of Telford is an alternative to the two mainstream parties who are trying to oversimplify and reduce this election to single issues, not wishing to engage with actual voters and the concerns that they have. Both Labour and the Conservative Party are trying to control the way they are being portrayed. They're trying to control the information that's being set for them. On the one hand, we've got Lucy Allen that's not making any mention of her local record or her issues that she's had, shall we say, over the last few years. And on the other hand, we've got the Labour Party who are calling this a referendum on the PRH. Now, what's interesting is that Labour are not going to be in any position, unless they win the election, Jeremy Corbyn is Prime Minister, to actually deliver on the pledges that they're making. What will happen is if the Conservatives win, the austerity cuts will continue, and the pledge that Kuldeep Sahota is trying to make to get people to vote for him, he will have no say over. It's also very interesting that the party in Telford for Labour and the party in Shrewsbury, their claims that they're making are going to be contradictory. The two parties are not going to be able to deliver on what they're saying to the electorate. So the Green Party are standing as an alternative for those people that don't feel like the Conservatives, like Labour represent them. People need to have, in this society, we can't have just two parties. We don't have this duopoly of two parties standing against one another. They need alternative voices. I particularly am standing for trying to encourage young people to engage with politics. I feel that is a really important thing that we need to try and achieve. It's understandable that young people don't turn out and vote at all because no politician really speaks for them. No politician has their concerns at heart, really. So I think that by my candidacy, I'll be offering a different voice, a different perspective, a different image to what people maybe will be expecting, in the hope that if people want a new kind of politics, they will vote for me.
Okay, so I did a survey, and in Telford, along with the Wrekin, the top concern of residents is the health service. And that's something that you've got strong views on.
Yes, definitely. I think it's very important to tell the voters of both Telford and the Wrekin that the Green Party have always been the party that, for the longest time, have opposed the austerity cuts to the NHS. When the Defend the NHS movement started, it was the Green Party that were there. There is a clear sense that the main political parties are trying to win votes through the stance they are taking. There's definitely, as I said, there's some game playing going on, particularly from Labour, in terms of what they're saying in Telford and what they're saying in Shrewsbury. We also have the interesting issue where Lucy Allen is trying to claim that she saved certain parts of the hospital, even though the whole reason the hospital is in the trouble that it's in is because of the cuts that the Conservatives are trying to put onto our public services, including the NHS. The Green Party want no cuts at either hospital. What's interesting is, by claiming they're going to save the PRH, they're actually saying, well, there's going to be more people coming in because whatever happens, there's going to be an increased demand. So the services that we receive as residents that go to the PRH is going to be dramatically affected. So really, the messages that people are being given are misleading.
Okay, so to get that clear then, you foresee the accident and emergency full services being retained at both sites?
That's what we would like, because obviously we need to have in these two areas, we need to have the full hospital services that we've had. The demand that would be put onto the hospital if one A&E was to stay would mean that we wouldn't actually get the service that we need for it to be effective.
Okay, so another aspect of their lives that the people in Telford told me most concerns them is education, and I guess that's one of your specialist subjects.
Yes, definitely, yes. I think what's interesting with education is that people don't actually see, because we get messages the way it's covered in the media, we don't actually get the viewpoint of teachers, the people that are actually involved directly with education. I think the problem with education is that it is always used as a first target for many new political party ever since Blair in 1997, where it was education. What we then had was massive changes to the education policy when the Conservatives took over. I think what's very interesting, what people probably aren't aware of, is that we're actually having a complete overhaul of the testing systems at GCSE where we're moving to a numbered system. So rather than getting grades where it's A, B, C, D, whatever, children are going to come out with numbers, and that's going to cause an issue when they come in to look for jobs because no one's going to actually know what that means, and it's going to completely affect the possibilities and the opportunities for our young people. There's definitely a culture of over-testing and teaching children to the test because teachers don't have a choice anymore because it's all based around your results, and if your results aren't good then you're in an inadequate school, and there's this fear of actually trying to create this love of learning because you don't have time for it. So the Green Party are completely against SATs in primary school, and we're also very focused on trying to make sure that young people get a love of education, a love of learning, because that's how you then create opportunities for them in the future.
So when when students have left education, gone to further education, tuition fees, universities.
Yes, well, that's one of the biggest issues that faces young people, and I, in my role, obviously I speak to 16, 17-year-olds that are making those decisions, and it's a travesty that the reason that so many bright students do not consider going to university is because they're put off by this horrible figure of £9,000 a year that actually, as they rush through before the end of this parliament, could actually rise with inflation to £21,000 a year. This is a clear drive by the Conservative Party to make sure that further education is the reserve of the richest and the wealthiest students that won't be put off by that. So we're limiting the opportunities that they have. The Green Party are completely against tuition fees. It is wrong that young people are saddled with this debt. It's also from the perspective of people that maybe feel like, well, why should they get it for free? Actually, it's very unlikely that many students will ever pay this money back. Personally, I haven't paid off the interest on my student loan yet. So we haven't actually got an effective system of claiming this money. And that actually, what's happened is that the debt's been then bought up by private companies, private investors, which just shows how actually the whole economy is being rigged to favour these private companies. It's wrong though that children are being disadvantaged because the people that are putting these laws in place with tuition fees got free university education. So there's this hypocrisy that's limiting our young people.
Okay, so people leave university, students graduate, then they go into the world of work, and minimum wage?
We are, I feel like we've been ahead of the curve in terms of employment, in terms of the minimum wage. In 2015, in our manifesto, we had a pledge to raise the minimum wage to £10. That's then been taken as one of the headline figures for Labour for their manifesto for this election. The Green Party have always been a party of opportunity, a party where we would look to give people the basic needs that they have to live a good life. We've looked for universal basic income, which is an idea that's been trialled elsewhere. We are the party that will actually speak for working people. Everybody else seems, especially the Conservatives, making this pitch for working people. They're the party of zero-hour contracts. They are the party of benefits cutting. They are the party that don't actually care about working people, apart from when it's time at an election when they think they can win some votes. The Green Party will actually stand up for working people.
You mentioned a national basic income there. Just explain what that involves.
That everybody would have a minimum basic income. It is what it says on the tin. So rather than allowing people to fall below a certain level, everyone would have the basic needs to survive, to meet the rising inflation that we're seeing at the moment with the pound going down, to actually provide people with the basic framework to live, quite frankly.
Okay. So finally, Luke, just tell me what kind of reception you're getting out on the streets of Telford.
Unfortunately at the moment, because I obviously have a full-time job, I don't have the party machinery behind me that other candidates do. I haven't actually been able to go out and do campaigning on the streets. What I have done, and where I've seen a very good reception, is through social media and through Twitter. It's very interesting to me that just by answering people's questions on Twitter gets a very positive response, in contrast to the Conservatives, in contrast to Labour, where actually they're not engaging with voters. Personally, I feel that door-to-door canvassing is a relic of an older system, that actually people, in a very stage-managed way no doubt, where they're going and knocking on certain doors where they can get a good photo opportunity, or where they can fake a good photo opportunity, shall we say, is actually not the best way of engaging with people anymore. It's outdated, it's not getting to the heart of those concerns, because I think it is so stage managed. I'm hoping to, in half term, which is in a couple of weeks, to actually go out and get to meet voters. I'm very happy that we've managed to get a leaflet going out to every household in the constituency, so everybody will actually be able to see what I stand for and what my values are.
Luke, thanks very much. Luke Shirley from the Green Party, standing in Telford. Best of luck for June the 8th.
Thank you very much.
And I shall see you at the count.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.